we'll get started. I'll put myself up over here. You guys are all fine. So this is Ignite. And I need to say my history, I've been with Keller Williams for 6 months. And outside of that, my history is just buying and selling homes. I have 13 rental properties. I have been very invested in real estate since 2016 when we started that process, and we owned our first home in 2012. Bought a house and got married a month apart. It was a very expensive summer. I am new to Ignite, so we'll do this together. The course is awesome, and it's going to give you a lot of information. And I'm really excited. I'm going to focus really heavily on like pinpointing systems and plugging in and doing part of the environment here and resources. So I'm going to try my best to stay on topic and follow the presentation guide, but sometimes I might get too excited. So I don't have a working clicker. This isn't working. Okay. So each day you come here and by Joe or Joseph? Okay. So this is a 4-week program. You'll be here for 2 hours. Generally, the concept is for about an hour. You're going to have instruction, and then the second hour, you're going to implement that work. So in the first part, we go through practice conversations, take notes. We're going to be handwriting notes to people you know, your sphere of influence. You're going to be taught how to communicate with people. You don't want to just call people and be like, hey, I want to sell your house for you. So you just keep in contact with people and make conversations, and eventually it leads to that type of relationship. I'm going to refer back to the real estate agent. I don't know if you guys have read it, but I highly recommend it. Again, I'm a systems person. This is somebody else went through the process and they figured out the best way to build your business. And if you just plug into what this says, you're gonna make it. Yes, I have these here for you. You have your participant guide. If you follow through, it has sections for notes. There's going to be a few things where I'm going to ask you to jot down some ideas. We're going to talk about like, hey, that really clicked with me, and I want to talk more about it. We have 4 key objectives. And remember the expert at creating a value proposition for your business, developing a lead generation system, establishing a lead follow system, practicing perfecting the steps of a real estate transaction to get a successful close and get paid. Something that we're seeing a lot to keep in mind is that during the inspection phase, you can save the deal. And a lot of agents are not putting the effort into confidently guiding their client on things coming up in home inspection is expected. What's going to happen? The inspector is paid to find things wrong. I had a home inspection one time. There's no tops in the wall. Like, cool, with house scans, that's all we're really sure. That's the one we want. So if you know a lot about your business and you can show and exude confidence to your client, then you're going to do a better job at holding it all together when there's this possibility that inevitably comes. One time, I had agent drop a key under the bed and it was all closed in. It's like, you gotta handle that one. And we figured it out. Like, it's gonna come your way. Okay, so today we're going to start. We're going to touch on a lot of topics. It's going to get into more detail as the course goes on over the next few weeks. the people who are coming in, like, they have a lot of energy, they know what they're doing, they've been in real estate for a long time, they're really good instructors, and just somebody that learn every day. So if you don't like the way I'm talking, I'm every back. Well, I'm the fill-in for subs, so I could be that. Yeah, today I'm there. All right. So we talked about this. It's been all about mindset. Everything that I've done to be successful in my life and my career and building my real estate business so that I didn't need to be at a full-time job every day is what is going to keep coming up. It's your mindset. It's whether or not you're in mentality. It's whether or not are in a position that you are ready to absorb feedback and better yourself instead of assuming that you have all the answers at the start. So very heavy focus on all of that. This quote from Gary. Anyone can do it, not everyone will do. The quote expresses something that's so true about real estate. Real estate is a wonderful business and one where you can make a lot of money, run your own successful enterprise, and achieve your biggest dreams. By the end of the night, the possibilities of your own success and you're willing to actually get it done. So we heard the 6 personal perspectives. So there's a big hurt when you get that. There's the one thing. There's personal perspectives, and it refers back to your one thing and how you're going to just focus your energy and you're going to make a plan. We talked about time blocking. I personally was like, if I get my work done, I'm pretty good at doing what I need to do. And then I got here and I was like, oh my goodness, I need time blocking because if I don't just like shut everything down and close my door for an hour, it's going to take me 4 hours to process questions. So that's why you want to be here from 9 to 11 and do your lead generation. You want to be part of that energy. That's going to springboard you because you're going to accomplish something. Then let's go make your bed. It's all about how starting your day by making your bed is one little win that you can build and like taking one bite of the elephant. You're going to just do one little thing after one little thing. Focus your energy on those quick wins to build momentum so that when it comes to something that's going to take more time or it's going to be harder, you're going to want to do it. So you've got your 6 personal perspectives. We're going to go into a lot more detail down the road on these. Searching successful people in the field and asking the question, what is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish as much? So in step 1, you're going to commit to yourself. We're going, hold on, might be getting extended from station up with the next yeah. There's a slide. Okay. Step 1, you're going to commit to self-mastery. It's not commitment to mastery, it's commitment to self-mastery, which is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. When you commit, you know your goals, you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you know how to build your strengths and weaknesses to seek the master of necessary knowledge, skills, and habits. Throughout it, you'll be acquiring skills and developing habits to be successful. So are you committed to acquiring the knowledge, skills, and habits? Step 1 is we're here at Ignite. Somebody told you you're a new agent, you want to be here and you want to get the knowledge that's here. I've seen you in the office for lead gen. I've seen you asking questions. Adrian comes to me constantly and is it like, am I doing this right? Is this the way it needs to go? And it makes your life so much easier if you just follow that system and follow the process from the start. Step 2 is to commit to the 80-20 principle. 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. It's about getting the most from your time and maximizing your results. You have to have focus. This is where one thing comes in. This is the most solid predicting activity of a real estate agent. Was that? Yes, it is. It is generation. You to your database is. You need to know what your sphere of influence is. And once you start there, then that's where your energy is going to be, and that's going to create most of your results. It really comes down to very simple steps to you don't need to reinvent the wheel. That's what the millionaire real estate MRE talks about all the time. Do not reinvent the wheel. Don't think that you're going to do it better. All you want to do is follow the systems that are in place so that you can be successful without spending the time and energy and money in a new process. Number 3, we're moving from E to P. Entrepreneurial approach to the purposeful approach. I want to break the ceiling and commit to modeling systems is what this part is telling you. We can all attain a certain level of success utilizing our natural abilities, and we can also expect to hit a ceiling at some point. Let's say as a kid you got really good at doing cartwheels and flips. Did you have that natural ability to allow you to perform in a circus? Most likely the answer is no. Practice and work with a coach for some time before you perform in a circus. Likewise, we all hit the ceiling of achievement with natural abilities alone. You want to break through and get purposeful, which means focusing on models and systems that organize you. Joe, in the soccer world, what's your history? Was there a point in time where you were like, if I want to get to the next level, I'm going to need to do something different?
Sure.
So what did you do? So different coach?
Just a little bit after before they go.
Putting extra time in. Anybody else have an example? Your ceiling, like, need to reevaluate what I'm doing because I'm not getting where I want to go. Most of them are doing very good at it. So. The foundation of your action. I mentioned that at the beginning. First individual appreciate learning for their own improvement. They know what they know, and know those an individual who does not appreciate learning is what's referred to as ignorance-based. They know what they know, everything else. That goes back to, I keep talking about MREA. You can't assume that you have all the answers because you haven't walked in those shoes yet. You want to tap into teams and PC and people who know what they're doing so that you have to take the time and money to figure it out. So as long as you're focusing on the systems and the tools, we're talking about there does a ton for your business that you're already paying for. That's what your monthly is your access to technology. So you take the time to really understand how it's going to manage your business and how in a matter of few clicks, you can process, you can do comms, you can get in touch with people, put out communication to your database. There's a whole bunch of ways that it makes it really easy to just take your time to know what's happening. I'm especially clever, especially gifted. I'm very, very curious. And I laughed when I saw this quote because that is the son to a T. Like he's never been, he's always looking for something to, if he has things in front of him that he will find a way to make it productive. Learn something, and he's always asking me, like, hey mom, did you know that so this kind of scorpion? And then he thinks, I'll remember that tomorrow, and I don't. So all you do is be curious. You want to ask questions. You want to be engaged so that you can learn and know things. And the more you learn, you have that ability to apply knowledge in situations. So just be observant of what's happening around you. The fifth one is to remove your limiting beliefs. If you limit your thinking, that's where you stop. If you have a goal to make 2 appointments today, and you get to 2 and you stop, that's the difference between getting by and being successful. If you make 2 appointments in the first 5 minutes and you have blocked 2 hours, call 10 people. There's something in my email that I keep meaning to print and I keep forgetting, but I love it because it's a whole bunch of X's in the last check mark is a check mark, and it says the difference between me and you is I tried one more time. Like you never know when you're gonna break that limit and actually be successful. Be accountable. I'm gonna read this one because I could go on for an hour just about this topic. Accountability is first and foremost an attitude and an approach to your entire life. An accountable person says that everything in my life is a result of my choices and actions. I own my life. Accountability is a tool for continually changing the results of your life in those areas that matter most. Your 20%. The person who is accountable in their 20% says, I own my life. Purposeful. I want base to continue improving. Ignite will give you those tools to do that. So, what are some ways that you can be accountable right now?
Set goals.
Set goals, write them down, have them as a visual to see them regularly. A couple of years ago, it was a big thing to write like on your bathroom mirror. Write what your goal is right there. Every single day, you're going to look at the mirror, and that's going to be front and center. Or your brain starts to filter out things out of times to change it at once. Happiness is not an individual sport. Your business success is not an individual responsibility. Yes, what? Gary Keller has learned that no one succeeds alone. This quote is from a guy who pioneered the research that reveals that happy humans are more productive, creative, and problem solving, and healthier and less stressed. So embrace accountability. All right. Anybody have any ahas so far that you want to share? If something stood out to you so far that you're like, I'm gonna focus on that. I'm gonna take that with me through the rest of the class. I think that if you really 2 hours to set appointments, and you get 2 of the time you'll call the first 2 people. Go home and make the rest of the calls. Don't stop. They go they goes to. Right. Because like here with the team meetings, their role is make their equipment hold 2. So we already expect some sort of attrition to happen. And if you set yourself up with several appointments and you assume 70% are going to actually show up, then now you've hedged your bets that you're going to get somewhere. And who knows? That person that you call at the generation time could be the one who really saw a house and was like, you know what? I want to go to that house. And then you can barely do any work. You don't know that you missed that opportunity because you didn't get a call. We're really big on mindset. We're also big on models and systems based on the proven success strategies of those who found success before. Our job is to take advantage of this collective wisdom so we can be highly successful as well and our chosen group. Which is what I've been saying, just in a very concise manner. So, caregiving culture is a big deal. It's what new agents and agents who transfer into programs talk about. They're aware of Red Day. They're aware of the KW Care Initiative. When you process a commission, you're going to be asked every single time, do you want to donate to KW Cares? There's ways that you have Lex Cares, which is a separate donation that you can to focus solely on market center, whereas KW Cares is the international approach to helping people. For Red Day, I know Heather was out there for Red Day. We, the second Thursday, down all those nationally. Everybody goes out and does community service. So we did, we had a hiccup for the rain. So we were supposed to help a women's shelter with some maintenance issues. And we were supposed to arrive at 10, and at 9:45 there was a massive snowstorm. So we pivoted And we went to a rose club that helps with after school activities. And what was the other one? The one that you called was, I'm sure the one that goes, yes, started. So she, we lit up the entire floor on the first floor of that building and laid some plywood down. Now, yeah, we should get an update on that. Hey, Joe, what's going on? When the tornado hit Somerset, we banded together and a whole bunch of agents and staff went down to Somerset and London to bring supplies. We had a whole drive where people brought things, distribute and organize. We have an agent who is sick right now with some unknown disease. Lex has donated to him. We raised money and donated a portion of what we had. And we've given them like, I think it's like $8,000 towards medical bills that they didn't have before. So it's a way that you can help other people. And it's just like putting $5 off your commission or $10 out of your commission as it gets processed. Oh, yeah, 20 minutes. Okay. Mission, vision, values, and perspective is something that we refer back to constantly around here. And our mission is right front and center in the room. To build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. The night focuses on helping to build these careers. Should be able to build businesses worth owning and living great lives. By the end of the mission, explore on a life worth living, experiences worth living, and legacies worth leaving. To piggyback on that, we also have a belief system, which we refer to by 4 C2Ts. We will keep up with that. This is on right here. So we want to win-win on the deal. What's the best for is involved? We want to have integrity and always do the right thing. Our customers always come first. We have commitment in all things. We're communicating, we want to seek first to understand. I went off on a tangent last week at the team meeting. I had a lot of people come attack me over their commissions while I'm processing what they enter in the system. It's just a matter of I can explain what happened and it was all right. You just missed something in the way, but there's no reason to come at me without being understanding and hoping. So I focused heavily on that one last year. Last week. Creativity, ideas, and results. Together, everyone achieves a team. Starts with honesty, equity, gives opportunities for and success results through people. So I mentioned all of these. All right, moving on to the value. State franchise by agent count and has more than 1,100 offices and 200,000 associates. We're number one in business and sales volume in the United States and technology and training. And you see that in some, I pulled off of our website some of the things that we've received lately for value. So I updated this from what you're going to see in your participant book on recent things. And it had 2021 numbers in it, and I went through and added some of the more current ones, especially that's use of AI, because we are heavily focused in the AI realm right now. We have Canva integrated coming into Command. So Keller Williams as a whole has been into the technology side, which I mentioned. Command is going to do almost everything for your business if you just know how to use it. Login plan. There's going to be a tab that says connect. And in connect, it's going to give you all the different things that you can plug into. So we have Ignite as part of Keller Williams University. We're going to be putting a lot of KW training on our training calendar. So whenever the training calendar comes out, earmark 1 or 2 per month that you would like to attend, whether it's based on the instructor who's doing the topic at hand. But if you do 1 or 2 of those each month, you'll gain a lot of knowledge. And during those classes, agents also put in their 2 cents and ask questions about their experience. So you'll start getting a lot more knowledge on how people handle things. And then coming up with votes. Last year, has anybody now last year she attended Bold, which is once a week for 8 weeks, I think. And it costs money. It's $7.99 to do that. I can take it out of your commission and hold it if you want. There's some other opportunities to help with cost of that, but she attended Bold, and it's an intense day, mostly lead generation and just understanding the thought process. So it's a lot more intense than what we're talking about through Ignite. And she left the listings, and she brought the buying to all 3 listings. So by attending Bold, she walked out of Bold with 8 transactions. And she tapped in barely any time. She rolled over her last month and she will tap this month. Like she just took the momentum and she ran with it because she plugged into the system. So that's an example that I focus heavily on because it's a big deal if you're following the systems. And then I mentioned command. Everything's integrated, keeps your business running. You can do it in the app on your phone. I don't want to so I'm not going to be the one who's going to teach you very much about that unless it's processing your commission. But letting them the YouTube videos on the training platform also. So there's your app that you can focus on. There's a KW app. Oh, something different. We're going to keep going. There's a KW app. It's the consumer-facing counterpart to command. So it's the way that clients and you can communicate by having that app, and they have access to, like, you can see what things that put them, and it gives you feedback in real time, like, hey, they're interested in this, you can reach out and ask about. So here's my market center value. And every month we have this report that comes out called the multi-year trends. And it tells us how our business is changing from year over year. It's telling us exact numbers that are out there. So right now, we have less agents associated with brokerage than last year, which is not a bad thing. It's those agents weren't producing, so they're just not there anymore. But what is noteworthy is that the GCI, so gross commission income, what's being written is a lot higher. So we're seeing a change in the market. I'm not a person to talk to you about change in the market. Listings are sitting longer than they have been. It's the buyer's market and seller's market now. There's a lot of data articles out there what that means to your business and how to approach it. It doesn't mean you're not going to get any business. It just means you might need to do something a little different than what you're used to doing. But people are out there working, and our top producers are the ones who are commission. Adrian, you got your foot in the door with that momentum. Because the people who have been in business for the last few years, they're the ones who are getting the action. So plug in, make a contact. Underwood Group, they're doing, like, you want to know what they know so that you can be where they go. We're going to talk about here, we're going to start getting into some exercises where you're going to into your future and see where you want to be. Do you want a business where you have 10 transactions a year, like month to month, or do you want a business where you're doing 3 or 4 transactions a year? So I'm going to help you break down that goal setting concept. There was a slide I took it out. I didn't think it was all useful. Mentioning that we have an agent leadership committee. Bethany Darby, John Bentley, Sharon, or Dustin, and John. Wait, I said John Bentley. This is my boy. Oh, Trisha. Trisha. Donna. Donna is she's an investor and a broker, so she's they're there to help you. They signed a contract that says, I will be there for you. I will help you. I will help you with markets and the new agents. So never hesitate to reach out if you want agent perspective on things to those people. Their cards and names are up at the front desk. There are little pictures that say they're part of the ALC. And then the leadership team. I'm processing your commissions. Lexi's helping on the technology side. This is the front desk who is super friendly and can help you with some like Canva type things. She can get you organized, plug you in with people. And then got Dustin, continually there an agent resource for you, but Stephen an agent resource for you also. So you have a lot of resources and I have people you call, especially when it comes to, you know, you want to make sure that you're in compliance with the brokerage and the board requirements. The board is the one who's going to come after you. And I've seen it. They send a police officer and they subpoena you while you're here and you're told to be here, so they hand it to you. So you want to make sure that you're in compliance to do what you're required to do and have those requirements. We have a profit share. This is passive income. You do nothing. Based on how profitable we are, you get paid money monthly. And it's based on who you put into your pipeline and what they produce. So this is where knowing people and sharing those connections can help if they're interested in a estate, then Kelly, Justin, Lexi can talk to them about what it takes and see if it's a good fit. Come on, they put your name in it. Now you have the ability to make money by doing nothing. Which we've kind of touched on a little bit here. Here are the Keller Williams companies. We have a mortgage company. We have affiliates that we partner with here specifically in this. We have that. Those are all listed on the website if you wanted to look at it. You have to make sure you are compliant with RESPA. Make sure that you do not those things that could get you into trouble if you make contact with the wrong person or you can't have kickbacks and things like that with certain people. Our communities strives to move of all associates, including those who solely specialize in of real estate. There are agents who choose to help only clients with commercial needs, such as office buildings. We have agents here who's doing commercial work. His team is somebody who we plug into when we have commercial questions. The clicker doesn't work. Can you put that slide like yeah. There we go. Giving me a signal. It's making fog.
Yeah. Keep going. You're good.
So if you're looking at this slide, how do these communities expand your thinking of your real estate career? Is there anything that jumps out to you as something you would want to be plugged into?
know that I've done some stuff with the young professionals, and I know that I'm interested in the KW military. Friends of the military. Obviously here, land is a big thing too, so.
Yeah, we do a lot of transactions that are just land purchases and sales. Alright, you go to the next slide. One more. Alright, here we go. Your career vision, thank you. Now it's time for your participation. Fair warning.
I don't know if we drink enough coffee.
We are more than halfway through, if that helps. But it's gonna take a little bit more time because it's not gonna be me running through things, it's gonna be you writing ideas and sharing them. Alright, what is it? I love this. What is it that drew you to a real estate career?
First time.
You want to buy it or you did buy it and you're like, I
I
want
did,
experience? Oh, and was it a good experience or a bad experience?
it was a good experience.
Oh, okay.
It was just seemed like something that I could do.
Okay.
It seemed like, something that really is going well.
That's a great perspective. What do you do?
It's hard to put a finger on it, but I talked to somebody and I had a lot of leftover time in the day. Kind of just found an interest writing about it. So.
Yeah. Heather, you were plugged in before.
Yeah, so working at EXP. And then, as a TC, and then working as an admin. And I've always been interested in real estate for some odd reason, like looking at houses and that sort of thing, so it just kind of. Drew me.
Yeah. Do you guys like building relationships with people?
Absolutely.
You would say you're a relational type personality.
Extra.
I used to be an extrovert and then I met my husband and he is a very big extrovert and I'm like, I now need breaks from people. I'm good now. She handed, there we go, okay. Alright, in your participant guide. Put that out of then, there we go, perfect. Alright. We're going to look a year into the future, so write down what today's date, but a year from now.
18th, 2026.
Yep. Alright,
It's
so
a Tuesday.
are we visualizing next August and what's going to happen? All the seasons changing, all the life activities that are going to happen. We get through all the holidays. So a year from now, your business is thriving and your life is everything you dreamed of. It only took 1 year. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You are building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You are the top agent in your market center or rookie of the year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business. MREA. It teaches you how to grow your business and specifically pointing at this part where it says you're hiring an assistant. So you don't want to hire an assistant until you hit a certain threshold of business production.
Red light.
What'd you say?
We're all in red light.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just what is red light? I don't know red light. What is that?
We can't spin until we have. Red light
Yes.
spending.
I don't remember red light in here.
Been hired.
And you want to consult your market center. We have experience with many top producing agents that just go out and hire someone and things fall apart. I had a management company here in Lexington. And I spent more time managing the management company than if I had just done it myself. So I'm siphoning money out of my business to these people who are requiring me to basically do everything for them, and they're just pressing buttons in the computer to change what I'm telling them to change. So that wasn't necessary anymore. I got rid of that. So it's things like that where you want to consult other people, you want to bounce ideas off of your trusted resources, your market center staff, your coaches, other agents who you look up to, and you want to come up with a game plan once you hit a certain production level. And once you hit that level, that's what you're going to focus on. You're going to be able to do your lead generation while they're doing things like transaction coordination and organizing things to get ready for closings and making sure that everything is the way it needs to be. So in your participant guide, the final bullet says you are on the path to, what would be your 1-year goal from today as a real estate agent? Write that down in the book.
Sorry, say that again.
The final bullet says you are on the path to. So in 1 year, if this were your life,
Doom.
what?
No, right now, doom.
You wanna envision your own ideal future.
So we're thinking of where we want to be, not
Yes.
where we're actually.
Write down all the great things that have happened over the last 12 months. If you're looking at yourself a year from now. The next question is, and how does that make you feel? And I want the answer to be happy, not doomed. How are we doing? With goals?
So,
Adrian, how do you feel about goals? What you've accomplished a year from now?
Well, when I wrote it down. Felt kind of unrealistic.
I hear you.
Elaborate, why?
Well, I just, I guess it's hard to see it, just doing what I'm doing now. Or where I'm at now, but my goal was, I'll just say it was to close 2 to 3 transactions.
Okay.
And that would be, I would make me feel great, but I said realistically, at least 1.
Are you doing? Okay, so realistically, at least 1 is one of those limiting beliefs. We want to work towards shifting our mindset and not thinking we can't meet a goal if that one is what our goal wants to be. Did anybody watch The Office?
Not enough to quote it.
Well, this is my experience with technology because I couldn't blow this picture up. But this is one of my favorites. Is Michael Scott wrote on the board, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, and Scott quoting that Gretzky. So if you don't try, if you have limiting beliefs, then that's where you're going to be. Because that is what your brain thinks is going to happen. If you wake up and say, this is going to be a great day, then you're going to be in a much better situation. But if you wake up and you're like, I'm dreading this day, I have X, Y, Z to do, and I don't have enough time, and I have this deadline for something else, then you're going to be bogged down all day long. So let's focus on 3. We're going to close 3 transactions each month. So it feels overwhelming, but going through this course is going to get you on the right path to actually produce those results. How often do you show up here for lead generation?
As much as I can, I have another career.
Right.
But,
I
yeah, so at least
here all the time.
I would say a few times a week.
So just keep plugging it. Anybody else want?
I said actually, 16 units a year.
Okay.
That's my goal. I had that this year, I'll have that next year. Whether that's realistic or not, we'll see. I think, especially now that I'm on a team, it's realistic.
Is that
And
they'll be realistic?
and then I think what I'm really shooting for right now is to get all my debt paid off. And right now I'm trying to pay my water bill.
Yep, so it's a matter of writing down a plan. Once it's written down, then you have that focus that you can be on. And so for you, selling houses is gonna be a focus because you need to generate that income to offset that. And then once you get ahead of that, it'll be a lot better on. I mean, so you'll believe that is a realistic goal.
Yeah. I do, right now I'm just struggling.
I think you're doing great. That you're plugged in, you're doing a really good job at trying to maintain a positive that. See that.
I'm true.
Feel you okay?
My focus is more on just building safe relationships.
We're gonna talk a lot about that, on that, it's just building the relationships and maintaining the relationships, and then things start falling into place. So that's a good goal, a good thought process and path that you're on. So the next one. Is your life. So we're gonna expand past a year now.
Whose income is that? I would love that.
Don't limit yourself. Don't think I'll never be able to afford tuition. So this goal right now, the purpose of this exercise is that you're going to try to expand what you are currently doing. Think back over the last few years about some goals that you may have had, but you just didn't really push yourself to get them because of money. Where were you limited because you didn't have money? I don't know everybody's situation with kids. I don't think anybody. Okay. So you have IVF that you need to pay for. So like if you were further along, you'd be thinking like, I have tuition to pay for my kids' college. I have,
Get in here.
I wanna buy a house myself. Like you have your house. Maybe you have goals to pay it off. Maybe you have goals of purchasing a second house as an investment property. So the purpose here is that you're going to try to establish a mindset of a big life plan. So take a few minutes and jot down little bubbles of how much those goals would cost you. And that's going to create a number that you're striving for, which is going to help you during your lead generation process. Everything's coming back to your lead gen. You'll see at the bottom of that page, it talks about your big why. There's all different reasons that people are motivated. And once you figure out what your motivation is, it helps create the path forward at that point. How are we doing? Well, that's the whole thing. It was to dream big. It was to not limit yourself. It's not a ceiling. It's to say, if I had won the lottery, what could I do? What would I be looking for? And then when you look at your goals, you realize that you don't actually need $1 million to do it. And then it becomes a lot more perspective and you can be focused on. So, does anybody want to share a couple of goals? Because you sharing your goals may help broaden somebody else's mindset.
I don't have any, I guess I don't have any big monetary goals in my life anyway.
Okay.
So it's kind of real basic, pay off debt. Cards, credit cards. I'm not really focused on paying off the house because all of our kids are moving out. But I would like to sell the house. I'd also like to buy land and build on, which I'm hoping when I sell the house, I can.
Yeah.
To do with it, but
And that's, our first house was bought in Fairfax, Virginia, and you know, the DC area, it's very expensive. And for our budget, it was at a point where we were not even finding houses with walls and floors, like $350,000 in 2012. And there were floors. It was just joists, and they were like, good luck, I don't get that. So, but because we sacrificed, so the first house we bought was $380,000. We didn't want to pay PMI. So we had to get 20% down, $380,000, plus the closing costs that are associated with that. And we scrounged up money, we took loans from our TSP, we had a daily budget goal between the two of us that we would not spend more than $5 a day on food. So the two of us had to eat, like, we were eating macaroni and cheese, hot dogs, we were sacrificing to get there.
that's tough.
But because of that sacrifice that was happening right then, 4 years later, we sold the house and we took all the equity that was in that house and put it towards our, we moved down to Richmond, Virginia, so we built a house there. We got 3 rental properties. And it was all out of the equity that we had because of that 20% we had put down and then the increase in assessment value. So
It has floors, can you imagine?
well, we ended up finding a foreclosure that was kind of like lipstick on a pig situation where they just threw things together. So we ended up having to redo the bathroom because tiles were just like falling off the wall. But it did have floors and it was livable from the moment we bought it, so that was a big, at that point. We had to put a lot of work into that house just to keep it put together. But those sacrifices led to, look what we could do, and then that's generating an income stream that some months are very difficult in the rental world, and then other months we just collect rent and we save it for the next catastrophe. Just this past month, I replaced an HVAC unit, a roof. I had to evict bats from a house, which is way more expensive than I would ever thought. A raccoon, $200. Bats,
are hard. because they-
$1,500.
Yeah, they keep coming back, they're like, for that.
It was, so I was like, okay,
It wasn't just take them and they're like, oh, I'm happy here. Yes, they just keep coming back. So I have a lot of, like, obviously my IVF, which. Well, it's very expensive. And then I have, Destiny Rescue that I wanna donate to. They go into, countries and they're essentially, doing the NBC Sound of Freedom for the guy went in and, saved the children that have been, trafficked. Okay, so Destiny Rescue is actually the foundation. They go in and rescue children that sanctuary. And then I also went to donate to Freeborn, which is a crisis pregnancy. They do ultrasounds, but then not only do they help with in birth with a child, but they actually maintain that child until it's 2 years old. So they donate diapers, they do cribs, car seats, and it's all free because of donations. So all those things are pretty expensive, though those are very expensive. So those were some of the things, and then Luce and I didn't have a car, so we need to buy a new car. Okay. Plus the car that we have is on the verge of needing to be replaced, so I have 2 new cars that we will purchase. Okay. It's not cheap. And then we have that, and then eventually down the road, buildings.
I love your whole thought process. You put so much effort into seeing far into the future and bulleting all of those things that you need to accomplish and making sure that you have
And they're in order.
vision.
They're in order.
Joe,
It's where to start. Mine's not in order by any means, but I was just thinking, so my car needs a new transmission.
That's important.
I would then followed, I'd love to travel, like off season, just have a little bit of money, and travel, max out my Roth IRA. And look into getting a house. Cause right now we're renting, so.
okay.
You know, I know a couple good realtors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Now, is that the first time that you put things like this down on paper? Or have you done something like this in the past? So having it written down and just having the time to think about it, and every once in a while, you'll wanna think back, like in 6 months, you'll wanna reevaluate. What did I say on goals for? Oh, I haven't traveled anywhere, let me put that on the agenda, and then. Once you schedule it, you have to find a way to make it work, so if it's not scheduled and it's not on paper, you're not going to achieve it. That's the general gist of all of this, is write it down and focus. So it's important to establish a mindset of caring and gratitude along with your goals at the beginning of this journey into your future. Even jobs you love have moments where you'll struggle to find motivation. During Ignite, you'll learn a lot about the ins and outs of how to find and keep business. You'll learn everything you need to do to get a deal to the closing table. The more connected you are with what you want to do with your success, the more you'll find that success. So it's your big why. You want to, next slide. Once you know your big why are these, it doesn't work. Once you know your why, once you know what motivates you, then you have that ability to pay attention. And when you feel yourself slipping, or you're like, I haven't had an appointment in 2 weeks, you can sit back down and be like, what were my goals? And I need to achieve these, so here's my motivation. So. In your last activity, this is where I'm going to try to focus on what it says in here, because I will go off on a lot of tangents, because it's money. In the last activity, you estimated how much you'd like to earn to pay for the things that are most important to you. We need to get real about how commissions actually work. So. Usually, you're going to see, I have $10,000 coming in, and not plan ahead for what that money actually needs to go to. So let's break it down. About a third of that is going to go towards your commissions, owed to the brokerage. Here you pay, depending on the plan, you either pay 19% or 24% into your company dollar, which goes towards your cap. You pay 6% of your GCI of your total commission to Keller Williams Realty International, the big company. They monitor that, they manage that, everything is automatic in command, and they expect their money, so we can't touch anything associated with royalties. And then depending on what plan you're on, there's either a transaction fee, or once you're capped, there's the transaction fee on the classic plan. So you're looking at 30-ish, 30 to 40% going towards the brokerage for the support that they provide you. Then, after you pay the market center, roughly another third goes back into your business. That's going to be set aside to cover your marketing, your operating expenses, if you need signs, paying for your car, because your car is fairly important to this position. Your phone is another thing, so you need to prepare for those expenses that are business expenses. I like spreadsheets. If you want to create a spreadsheet that identifies, every month I have to pay a phone bill, a car payment, a mortgage, all of these things that are going to be associated with your business and running that. And then you can also in that process identify. So those would be called your fixed expenses.
What would you say that percentage is? What did you say?
It said a third of the balance.
Okay,
So.
a third after that 30%.
Yeah, so about 30% is coming out of your commission to go to the market center fees. As you have to be associated with brokerage. And then of that balance, we're looking, so of this that's left, you're looking at a third of that balance. So.
So out of the 70%.
Out of the 70%, you're taking 22%, 24%. And the best way to do that is like a spreadsheet or write it down on a piece of paper. Here are my fixed expenses. Then you have things like getting down the road. My signs really need to be replaced. I want to go through a rebranding. I don't love what I picked on day one, and I've grown a lot in my business, so I want to get a new formatted signs. So you're gonna go into that discretionary spending and start making a plan on how you're going to tackle those expenses.
And you guys have the, I'm adding something. You guys can't have the ability when you take out our commission to take out our 20% taxes as well, so we don't have to deal with that, right?
I don't do it in the sense that I manage your tax payments in any way, but I can put it into a separate account.
Yeah.
So we have an agent here, and when I process her commissions, I have it set up in the bank that if she gets $1,000, 800 goes to her checking account and 200 goes to a savings account. And then that's her business set aside, so she doesn't have to think about it, it automatically disappears from her account. You could go in and in your bank, you could set up automatic transfers. Just be like, every month on routine, I'm gonna put $200 away, because you need to know what your tax liability is and you need to pay it. Because one of the things that I hate outside of real estate, one of the things that I can't stand is when people pay money to make a payment towards something. So when people, like, you go to pay your water bill and you pay a credit card processing fee, like, don't pay to pay your bills. I had another example that was more a loss, I don't know that mean. But oh, if you don't pay your taxes on time, you have to pay a penalty. That's $100, $200, $500 that could have gone towards a new house, a new car, anything like that. That because you weren't prepared, you're now spending extra. All right, the next part is how much you're going to save and pay for taxes. So this example separated your tax payment from your business expenses. So you're gonna set aside whatever you expect your tax liability to be. And there's all types of tax liability spreadsheets and things out there on the internet that you can plug numbers into and figure out what your quarterly tax. So then. So that's your savings, the last one, and then finally you get your share. So you see all this money that you're going to make on your commission, and at the end of the day, this is really all that's left for you to travel and do the extra that you wanna do. So you need to have that perspective going into it and knowing it upfront that you're not going to walk away with 100% of the number you see, because you need to plan and prepare for your future. So now in your workbook, we're gonna do an example. This is something that Bo showed me. I'm not even need. I don't wanna be a lesson agent, but I don't wanna have to know all of the ins and outs of real estate. But this is one of the things that Bo showed me when I first started, was backing into the production number that you need. So. This is in the way. if you have. If you have a net income goal. What you want to work towards, you're going to figure out how much is going towards your. Company dollar, your business expenses, and figure out what your gross commission. Income is supposed to be. And how many transaction goals you need to accomplish that. So this is where you have your generalized mindset that we started with, and we want to come back and figure out what an actual number is. When you look in your workbook. It's gonna ask you on the next sheet, on the next slide, to fill out your own. So. Set your annual net income goal. This is how much money you want to make before taxes and operating expenses. So it depends on other jobs. So your real estate goal could be way different than your actual like living, I need X amount to actually live on. Then B, you set the amount that you expect to pay a market center. So depending on what plan you're on, you're either paying 30% or 25%. Of your commission, so. With a cap, so if you're on the classic plan, you're gonna pay 18,000. Total, if you were to fully cap, and if you're on the launch plan, you're gonna pay. 15,000 total between royalty and company dollar, so those are either 15 or 18 is going in there. Then your business expenses. This includes if you're paying anybody, which you're not going to be, any lead generation, marketing expenses, any education you're going to do, like if you're gonna do gold, that's $800, that's business expense, that's gonna go towards it. Your business expenses are probably lower than this $50,000 that they're suggesting here. D is your total GCI, which is the total of A, B, and C, so you add A, B, and C together. And put it in the D category. That's how much money total, so when you're doing your transactions, that's how much money you need to be bringing in on the bottom line of the Alta that says, here's for your commission. E is your typical commission or fee, so if you're looking at, I'm seeing a lot of 2.5%, more than I'm seeing 3% commissions coming in, because there's concessions being made to get people rolling. You're gonna have. And if you're a typical buyer that you're meeting with now is looking and pre-approved in the 200,000 range, then you wanna apply 2.5% to. A purchase of 200,000. Then the last one is you're going to hit your goal, you're gonna divide D by E.
You guys know that this is in your commission as well, right? You can plug this in, it's very good, it's.
What was your transaction number?
Well, I want to do, I want to say it's like 12. For this year. Which I'm not gonna do, unless something major happens. Next.
By the calendar year, that's what.
That's what I did. But. Or before March, I guess.
Yeah, cause you could look at it in terms of your onboarding date and a year from onboarding. To know what your goals are.
Yeah, it's really nice to have it in May, because it tells me where I'm at as far as my goals. But it also is very interesting. It's like, reminder. Stressing. Yeah, cause I did this, Lexi did this during MREA.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awesome.
Yes, I did. So.
You feel like you've seen more newer agents go to 2 and 2.5 versus the seasoned agents in 3? So you gotta pay a lot of people.
The new agents are keeping to their 3%. I'd say the reason why I'm seeing the lower percentages is because of repeat clients. Clients are willing to ask for people, don't you negotiate on that. One of the things that I will mention, it's not necessarily pertinent, but it's something that has really been coming up a lot, is charging your client a fee on top of the commission. So when you go through the buyer agreement or the listing agreement, you're going to, there's a spot on there where you say, we commit to 3%, we commit to 2%, like that. And then there's a spot where you can charge a flat fee. You charge any fee you want. But you have to charge the same fee to everyone. So if you want to say on the buy side, I'm gonna charge all my buyers a $3.99 fee. On the sell side, there's a little bit more of a cost, I have to take listing pictures and things like that, I'm gonna charge them a $5.99 fee. You can do that separation, as long as it's consistent, but you cannot say to somebody, oh, well, I'll charge you a fee, or I'll just charge you a $50 fee, even though I charge everyone else $3.99 fee, because you can get into, if they find out about the differences, you get into a fair housing claim. So you have to make sure.
Why is it different for the set price versus the percentage?
Because there are broker fees. And so, you can claim those broker fees by charging your client for it.
So for example, I'm on the plastic. They charge, you guys charge $75 fee one second. In any transaction, I don't care if it's list, I don't care if buy, nothing, I always charge $75. It's easier to explain to the client, and usually they're gonna just brush over $75, whereas if you are charging on the launch for $3.99, it's a little bit harder to explain to them why they're paying a fee. But
It's the same concept,
It's
it's
the
that
same
there's a
concept.
broker fee and, for having a transaction, so it's being passed on to the client. I don't know how communication is going, I know personally, as a client, I had an agent not explain the fee to me and it showed up on my settlement statement, and I flipped out. It's like,
Yeah,
there's a $595 fee here, what is that? He's like, oh, we charge everybody, I was like, you didn't disclose that at all, and I thought everything was just a percentage. So you could get into that pushback, but I'll tell you, I see a lot of those fees. There's a point of clarity on your $75. When calculating company dollar, what you pay to this building's existence, we do not charge you your percent split on anything that you charge as a fee. It's called an admin fee, it'll show up separate on the Alta. We give you grace on that, that's yours, but KWRI for the royalty side does not. And 6% will be applied to that. So if you wanna recoup fully your fee that you're being charged, you should increase that fee by 6%, because if you're not capped on royalty, they'll continue to be less. FYI, because it came up just last week, there was a conversation about. Expecting 100% of your admin fee, but we don't have any way to adjust royalty payments whatsoever, because that's a big Californians thing. So we have to keep that.
And
Would you like your wig?
oh,
Yes. Yes, I do. Sorry,
Those glasses.
I'm a distraction, it's fine.
Were you?
I said, or you can take Gary's.
Oh, I didn't know we were gonna wig all this time.
The clown wig looks way better on Gary than it does.
Anybody else use it? No, no.
Not a wig person. Alright,
So-
Okay, so what I was gonna say, goals versus what I actually have. Not very good. So it actually put it in, and we'll break it down to your annual goal of how many leads you need, how many you need to contact. Appointments, all of that, so leads that I need to make 14,000 a year. It sounds like a big number, but you talk to that many, seriously, contacts 716. So I need to call 716 people. Annual appointments, so roll over a year, 36 appointments. Appointments kept, 26 agreements, I need 20 a year. Under contract 16, and I need closed units 12. I make my financial goal, which I set a lower one, coming in later in the year.
So in your scenario, you've met some of your under contracts, so you haven't
I
reached
have
the
five
close part
5% of my 20.
because you've entered that you have contract, you've been under contract,
Right, but I haven't closed.
so look. What does that tell you? That tells you that all your under contracts from here on out will close.
Yeah. Let's go. If they don't, I'll be in your office, Jagger.
And you got referrals. So it counts towards two, right?
So, but it's really neat, you throw the information into, and it actually gives you, I'll show you guys.
See, that's another plug for Command. Command will do so much for you.
It reminds you, and sometimes it's like, no, it's like, you're on watch, you're on alert, you're whatever, and it breaks it down
Wow.
to a funnel, shows you where you're at.
I have a question about referral, but we can wait till that.
Well, go ahead.
No, because it's more specific and I was gonna show you, see if you can.
Okay. We're almost done. The next, I don't think there's any more participation. We're just gonna go through information.
Power
You wanna share anything?
conversations. Very did that, right?
All right, we're going into daily success systems. The goal of Ignite is to equip you with the mindset, skills, and tools. Have I said that enough? Have you heard anything about mindset? You need to secure your first appointment and reach a successful close on the buying or selling of a house. Your daily success systems include the essential daily lead generation activities to get there. The daily goal for your Ignite experience is going to be 10 conversations, 10 contacts added to your database, 10 handwritten notes, utilize the 10-5-1 model for social media engagement, and any other enrichment offered at the end of each lesson, which you'll learn more about as we go. So we're not doing these things today. Today is just the overview, but going forward, after we discuss the content, then you're going to be expected to make your calls, make your notes, and go through that process. The first job of a real estate agent is lead generation. All roads lead back to your leads and whether or not you have people to contact and talk to and build that relationship. The activity in generating leads is the foundation of your business, your 20%. In addition, practicing conversations and dialogues will prepare you for confidence and success. Success is measured in appointments, signed agreements, signed contracts, and closed transactions. I know I'm a numbers person, but everything is you're going to do better if you write down what you're doing. If you identify in a little logbook, okay, I made 20 phone calls. I left messages for 20, or I left messages for 12 people. I got in contact with 8 people and I set 2 appointments. When you start writing those down, the more you write them down, actually, that's funny. I have an example that is not pertinent to you guys, but I'm crazy about baby sleep. I have 3 kids and them sleeping is essential to my ability to function.
Absolutely.
And so when they're little babies, I'm struggling through nap times and them not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so every time that I felt myself getting into a rut where I was like, what is happening? Why are they not sleeping the way they're supposed to be sleeping according to science? I started logging everything. Wake up time, first nap, wake up from nap. I logged every single thing, and sure enough, within 5 to 6 days, I was able to identify these windows of time are not correct. Because I wrote it down, because I had a visual and I had actual data points. Your brain is going to trick you into thinking what you already think you know. If you write it down, you have no choice but to look at the data, look at the facts and say, oh, I really thought I was making enough phone calls, but I see where I'm not. Or I'm kind of trying to have those conversations when I'm at the grocery store, but I didn't actually interact with a single person for an entire week. Because I wrote it down and I could see in front of me, that's where my gap is. So, highly recommend the writing of everything. You are going to need to be very, very careful about all of the requirements of the board and the do not call list and the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. You're going to want to be 100% familiar with that at all times. And you do not want to violate that because people will report you immediately. If you call the wrong person, you're getting reported. They're not going to hesitate because they know what their rights are when they're on those lists. So before making a call, check to see if they're on the registry. If they're on the registry, do not call. It's very simple.
And do you guys know how to check registry?
So you need to know all of your laws and all of your requirements, federal level, state level, board level, brokerage level, everything you need to be made aware of, and would be in your onboarding. And if not, you can contact your broker for questions. The daily success system requires that we talk to people every day. It is important to know what to say, and we will help you throughout Ignite. You will have conversations of care and gratitude. You will check in with people. You will offer value and assistance. At no point did I say you're going to offer to buy or sell a house with them. There's a better way to gain confidence and to stay in touch with people. So when you think of real estate, they think of you. When they think of real estate, they think of you. Conversations strengthen relationships. Just as a doctor learns anatomy before working with patients, agents must prepare to have meaningful conversations. Using purposeful language helps you get to the end point, which would be an appointment and then a closed transaction. You need to practice what you're saying. Like during PC, you guys do role playing, right? There's going to be more role playing here. The more you practice and prepare is how you're going to know to have thought out responses that deliver a powerful message. You want to be clear and concise in your messaging and your conversations. You do not want to beat around the bush. You're not going to build the confidence with a client if you're constantly unsure or if you're constantly backtracking. If you're confident in your response and you give a straightforward answer, you're going to get a lot further. Especially because once you get under contract on things, you're going to be responsible for making a lot of phone calls. There's going to be settlement agency issues. There's going to be issues with title clearing. All of those things are things that you're going to need to be able to navigate and keep your buyer or seller calm through the process because they know you've got it. When that key dropped under the deck boards, I was like, this is something you're going to need to figure out. And I knew that they were going to figure it out. We got into the house for a final walkthrough. Practicing allows you to ask questions in a way that people will be able to quickly share the information you need to better serve them. Practice and internalization helps you gain confidence.
Are we gonna be able to get these slides from you? Yeah. Well, the most of it's in there.
Yeah.
Most of it's in there, but I've noticed a few of them.
They're not. Huh, okay. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Okay.
Even if you send it after the class. I would take that.
Okay. So these are the types of questions that you would see somebody out in places of business. Right, okay, brain not working. So these are your well-known and commonly used in sales and service industries. These phrases and the ones that are in real estate focus on success are only successful when combined with a person's knowledge of that industry. So, you know, if it's electronics and you walk in and you want to talk to somebody You want somebody who's going to be knowledgeable in that. You don't want somebody who's just been placed on the floor to be like, I don't know what the difference between these are. So you need to be knowledgeable in your business and to know the areas, like do your due diligence before you go for showings if people are wanting to look at houses. You also don't want to waste your time or your client's time or the seller's time. If you have a buyer going to see houses that you know are not going to be a good fit. And you can explain, this is, you've told me through our first appointment what you were looking for, this doesn't appear to me what you're looking for, do you X, Y, Z, you still wanna go look at it, so you wanna be able to
You
build
still
that.
offer it to them, but explain to them why it doesn't fit the right criteria.
Well, buyers are going to wanna see everything that pops up on the MLS, so you need to protect yourself and so, yes. Do you have experience?
I've even had lately, I have one buyer that she's sending stuff that's off of marketplace and prices.
Oh, even though we were still using
Oh, yeah.
Craigslist.
Oh, yeah.
So I had mentioned earlier about your sphere of influence. These are the people that you know. You gotta build your database. There's ways to organize your database in Command. We'll be having conversations with people we know and have an implicit relationship to remain in contact. That's your sphere of influence. People you have met, know, trust, and respect you. They are most likely to help you. After all, people like doing business with people they know. The contacts in your phone are a good place to look for your sphere. And it's more than just friends and family. So. How did you meet your realtor when you bought your house?
Open house,
Okay,
walked in an open house and I liked the house and he just happened to be there.
okay.
He wasn't the listing agent and,
Oh, so you bought the house that you went to the open house on?
yeah, well, no, well, I walked into a model house
Okay,
and, told him the one that I had already looked up and that I liked, and he said, "You wanna go look at it?" I said, "Yeah, seen it," said, "I wanna buy it,"
okay.
bought it.
So you were confident in the relationship, in the communication that you had during the open house that you would be able to work with them?
Well, that's why I kind of wanted to get my license, 'cause I didn't really have a relationship with him. I mean, he helped me through the process, but felt like I did everything. I wanted to try to, if somebody was in that situation again, because of course, I went through some speed bumps and some hiccups and things that I would do different. And he didn't really, we didn't have that connection. So I said, I'd rather help somebody because I know how I was in the process.
And it took you an hour and a half to tell me that, but that's what I had a feeling that was why you got into real estate, was based on. Knowing that somebody did something and you were like, this could be better.
Right, yeah. So I didn't really feel like, I mean, I had a representative, but I didn't feel like I was representing. He was there, to send me, hey, sign this, send it back.
He made things
Transaction.
compliant. He
It's
made
just-
things compliant, but he didn't actually
Provide that.
provide value to it.
Yeah.
And
He
so
didn't go on showings and he didn't set me up on searches and that type of thing, so I didn't have that relationship, so I felt like I would at least get that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the customer service in the process.
Yeah, that's really good awareness.
And I think my experience would be completely opposite. I had never thought about being in real estate. I had enjoyed houses and looking at real estate. And then borrowed a book from a couple at church and her son is a realtor, Philip. And we had been interviewing agents. And I had talked to a couple different agents before we got, and we sat down with Philip. And Lois and I were just like, oh my gosh, he is fantastic. He's gonna bend over backwards. And I remember times like sending him a listing that had just popped up. And of course, too, remember we were right in the midst of COVID. And he would be like, hey, I'm mowing my lawn, let me take a shower and I'll meet you there. And he would literally drop everything to go show us the house because he knew that there was gonna be a deal on it within a couple hours, of it. You know, and I remember putting the offer for probably 8 houses and lost out Because it wasn't a cash offer, we asked for an inspection and we needed closing costs or whatever, and during COVID, that was just insane. I remember we lost out, we had escalated cost, and we lost a house by $100. $100, it was a brand new built, and never been lived in, and the people had decided to sell it because they weren't gonna be traveling back and forth. It was their vacation home, they had a real house in Tennessee. Oh, I died, but anyways, yeah, Philip showed me how much more really could be.
Yeah.
I was like, I could totally do this, and the whole time I joked with him that I was like, I'm gonna do this. And then, of course, I started working for AXP and found out that there was a whole lot of paperwork on the back end, and I remember like 2 or 3 days after calling him and being like, you know, in game night when you were telling me all about paperwork, there's so much. And he's like, I told you it wasn't just open doors, but you did great. And he's been here to this day. He's still game nights. We discuss things. How's help me design and we send each other deals and
It's all about relationships. Like I was just through all that, I was trying to think of how I met all my realtors that I worked with. And it's running the gamut, like so many different examples. But the biggest thing as a buyer is we're spending a lot of time with the realtor. We're going to multiple houses, you want to have a good time. Like my husband and I keep joking, the realtor that we used when we first came to Lexington, it was just fun to be around. We're like, we need to go buy another house so we go spend time with her, like, whoops. For it. So yeah, good, okay.
But yeah, it's good to make those connections. Well, and you never know, I think that's something that PC coaching that Stephen has been drilling into us, is it doesn't matter if they don't make the deal within a couple days. You don't know that person that you need to open house, they're thinking. But in a year, 2 years, 3 years, I think he's talking about one of the people that he's been talking to them for like 3 years now. Yeah. And they just decided that they're ready to move.
People remember how you made them feel. And so if you made them feel good, they're going to keep you in mind.
And as long as you keep connection, if you.
Right, that's what the making phone
At the
calls.
grocery store and you make them feel great, but then you don't follow up with it.
So what you were talking about with the years
Yeah.
is you want to pay attention to your sphere and what they've done. So if recently they have moved, then they're probably not looking for another purchase. But you maintain that relationship because they may be talking to their neighbor who is ready to move, and they're like, oh, I had a great realtor, I think you should be so and so. So when you keep those relationships going, you don't even, like the 6 degrees of separation, you don't even realize how much is gonna come back to that.
Oh, and I mean, this referral time. Embark on, it's the lady that did my flowers for my wedding.
Okay. Yeah.
14 years ago, and they moved from South Carolina up to Bedford, and now they're moving back from Bedford back to South
Okay.
Carolina. And she's like, hey, I saw that you just got into real estate, how many agents for us?
Yeah. Yeah, I asked, when I was in Richmond, Virginia, I asked our realtor, how do you get a realtor in a place you've never been to? Like, my husband's family is from here, like we live in the same neighborhood he grew up in, but, like, none of them had really used a realtor recently, but like, what, how do you find someone? And so every once in a while, I think about how the phone rang one day and all of a sudden we just got plopped in somebody's lap. We didn't do any interviewing. I didn't even know interviewing realtors was a thing, because everything that I had ever done was just relationship based. I had known somebody who knew somebody. And so it was just a base, like all of a sudden now, in the first year, we bought, or 2 years, bought a house in Georgetown, sold a house in Georgetown, bought a rental property in Lexington, and bought our house here in Lexington. So she got 4 transactions out of us by one phone call from my realtor in Richmond. Like, you never know where these people are gonna come from and how much movement they're gonna have. So keep your opportunities open. All right. Couple more slides. Practice the Ford method. Yeah. You are going to have several conversations with another participant in this class. This is the beginning of practicing conversations which will engage in every day of your real estate career. Each person will lead the conversation by asking Ford questions. Person A will ask first, person B will respond, and then switch. They are to repeat this process 3 full times and give examples. So this is,
There's 3 of us.
well, we're not gonna do it today. But this is what you're going to be doing all of your.
Come on, Jackie.
All of your Ignite session. This is setting you up for how it's going to work, and I love it. Look at you. See, keep it front and center. Keep it where you can see it and remind yourself what you're trying to do and what you're working towards. So these are the types of things that you're going to.
That's my phone call.
Perfect. That's awesome. How's your family doing? Are you still working at such and such company? My memory is crap.
On that note, command. It has in the
Yes.
contacts, a notes. Yep. When I'm making phone calls, I pull that note up. I write forward.
Oh, that's an excellent start to write forward.
And then as I go through, I put it in there and then it will tell me the date that I called that person and the note that I made. So that when I call them the next time, I can be like, hey, last time we talked.
Yep.
This and this and this and this were happening. How did that work out?
Yep. Perfect. Thank you. Because I can't remember anything about it. Like if it's not written down, my brain is just overloaded these days. I have a lot going on.
And then too, I'm more faith-based than most people in here. So I actually put a 3rd one in there that's a prayer request, and I actually have said, hey, do you have any prayer requests?
And what's the reception on that?
Oh, well, great, because most of my people are people that I met at church or whatever.
Yeah.
And even if they're not, then they'll say, hey, you know, I'm feeling YZ. Yeah. Right about it.
People like to know that you care about them. That's a good way to show.
And then you get up when you call them back. Be, hey, I've been paying for this. How's that going?
Yeah. You took the whole slide. I love it. And an excellent way to manage it.
See, this is my jam. Cold calling. No,
I worked at a bank.
Adrian and Joe can have all the details they want.
I worked at a bank and we were the type where you are in a grocery store, so it's just a teller window.
Oh,
And I worked there for 2 or 3 years. And then multiple times I was told, here's your cold call list. I never made a single call. I like talking to people face to face. I love to help people. So I would love if people ask me questions. I love answering questions. But calling somebody and being like, hey, you have $50,000 sitting in a checking account. Would you like an interest-bearing account? I know how I treat people who make that call to me. So karma. I don't want to be the one on the other end.
I think just like with the cold call, Adrian and I were talking about this, I think it was on Thursday. I don't wanna get that call. Most of the time, it's when I'm trying to relax and chill out with my family, I get a call and they're like, hey, XYZ, company calling you about whatever, your extended warranty. And you're like, just leave me alone. If I wanted to know about it, I would ask.
Yeah, and so that's a hard mentality to overcome, to be like, I have something of value to bring to you, so I'm gonna build that relationship. And that's why we focus on having those conversations that don't say, I'm a realtor, I'm gonna be a realtor for your next transaction. Are you looking to buy or sell in the next year?
So I actually got something the other day. Something that you guys might relate with about living houses. And there it is. in the open houses, a lot of times we say, are you working with an agent?
Okay.
And that's a yes or no answer. And most of the time, people are smart enough to say, hey, I can say yes, and they'll leave me alone.
Yeah.
But a question that you can ask, say, this comes from Bill, told me the other day, so we can back. Ask them, do you have anyone sending you good leads
Okay,
or deals?
okay,
And then they say, wait a second, is my agent not sending me
yeah,
X, Y, Z? Do they have something that I don't get? And then they'll go into a story of, oh, my sister-in-law's cousin, his brother is sending me stuff on Zillow or whatever. Do you have something else?
Yeah.
And then you can say, hey, let me get your information, and I can say you have cert. Or I might know something that's off market.
Yeah.
And then they're much more willing to say, hey, I'm not working with the best thing.
yeah. Alright. We are done. You're going to be asked throughout this whole session. The whole class, what are your ahas? So as you're like thinking like, that's something I need to focus on, jot it down.
Jackie needs to see teach more classes, that's my aha.
I think that's a good plan. I'm good for the overview.
I'm not good with stuff.
The financial stuff, I've taught.
I would appreciate that. Cause you are really so.
So. You wanna focus on how your thinking has changed, what do you feel differently about, is there something that you're like, I hadn't thought about it in that framework before? How will your behaviors be different going forward, which means you have to take action, you have to move, you have to do something. And what tools, models, and systems will you use? And I hate that that's the last one, because I'm so focused on tools and systems, and just plug in and do what people say to do. Without trying to reinvent the wheel, and you'll be so successful. I have so much history. Long ago, I was on a team of something that, the mindset and mentality that I learned is how I got into rentals and building that business that I have, because otherwise that was scary. I didn't want to do it. And so just plugging in and keeping yourself plugged in. I went to a wealth building event 2 weeks ago, where our regional leadership and McKissick's were there. And I didn't think I was gonna learn anything new, but what I wanted was to get back into my growth mindset, to get back into how to build more real estate, because we had babies and we stopped buying real estate. And some of the things that we bought, we were young and didn't really know what we were doing, and we should probably get rid of that house and go find something in better shape. So we're not throwing money at problems all the time. And so that's what it did. Plugged in. Reinvigorated my goals, helped me with mindset, and helped me really get back to the focus of what I did enjoy doing before I was drowning in accident.
And Jackie, red light, green light, page 59.
Wow, I must have heard that so
Red light, play red light, green light, and add costs incrementally. Hold them accountable to increment gains, and then and only then move forward.
Perfect. When you read the MREA,
And they mentioned it a couple more times.
you're going to
That's
want
me.
to highlight at all times and take notes, like there's so many little
it's-
tidbits in here. That this is where it keeps you focused and it keeps your mindset right.
And Joseph Miller still told me that I should read it once a year,
Yep,
because every year you're gonna find something.
absolutely, as you go through life and you are processing new information, you have a completely different frame of reference. And based on what you're going through at any point in time, you're thinking a different way. And you'll see something different, and then talk to people and flip them. You get other people's perspectives and thought process. Alright, thank you all, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate your participation.
Go put your foot up.
I know, what's killing me. Also, I'm not good about taking medicine, like my husband still takes me medicine.
Oh, my God.
And I left before he could do that. So I'm like, why did I not take ibuprofen?
before you leave out, I just got a question about. This referral I sent out over the week.